Hey you, this is CovertGo2, and today I'm going to talk about the things that I've learned in about 2-ish years playing the format of Commander, coming from a person who played a ton of Arena and a ton of paper Magic 1v1 tournaments before that. And just kind of how I've come to love Commander is very much by understanding Commander, and it's not the same game. It serves different purposes, and I'm going to share the things that have made the biggest difference in my Commander experience, in my deck building, and in my play experience for playing the game of Commander, which I have grown to love. So some of you may know I have a Commander channel called CovertGoCrew. We've got about 25,000 subscribers. Yay. Thank you very much to everybody who subscribed to that channel. And I know you see some Arena videos here. We had to cancel one episode because of weather, but we recorded some historic brawl videos that some of you may enjoy. But we have been trying to do a weekly Commander show for a bit over a year. And some things that I've learned in doing that much Commander, building a different Commander deck every week, playing all kinds of different Commanders with my friends. Here they go. We're going to pull out the lovely notepad, and on the notepad we will write the great sage words of the CovertGoBlue. Number 1, winning more. Wow, you guys really can't see that, can you? Winning more is winning. This is a really weird one because one of the things that we learn very, very early on in 1v1 Magic is that you don't want to win more. Every Timmy card that is handed to you is win more. Every combo you suggest when you're learning to play Magic, where you're like, oh, I get this and I get this, and then I make a billion cats, and they're like, that's win more. How many times have you heard that's win more? How many times have players like myself for Arena Ladder, you pitch them your cool idea, we turn up our nose, seems a little win more. In Commander, you gotta knock that stuff off. Every time you look at something as a player coming from a 1v1 format and say this is win more, that probably means it should be in your deck, because winning in Commander is hard and it requires you to go big and do amazing, scary things. So take everything you know about what win more is and use it to your advantage and start winning more. Actually win more. Do way more win more stuff in Commander. Number 2. This is a really tough one for me that took me a while. Threat assessment, especially with card draw. Let me explain. I was taught about card advantage as a very young little CGB. As a very little baby CGB, I learned that if somebody is drawing more cards than me, they are winning the game. I learned to treat the number of extra cards somebody's drawn in a game like the actual life total in a game of Magic. And that is, in a lot of ways, what 1v1 Magic is about. However, in Commander, a 4-player game, the cat's out of the bag. Everybody knows that if you want to play and actually compete with 3 other players, you need to draw cards. So in Commander, everybody has card advantage engines. Everybody is drawing cards. And just because somebody drew 3 extra cards last turn from their 100-card deck, which has all kinds of weird synergies and cards from across Magic history, it doesn't mean you are going to lose to that person because of those 3 cards. Now, this has its limits. If somebody casts Seagate Restoration and draws 15, they're definitely a threat. If somebody, has a 7-card hand when everybody else has 1, they're definitely a threat. But it's definitely hard when you're first getting into it to view that person who just cast a Treasure Cruise and you get a little bit Blue Mage jealous, a little Blue Mage envy, where you're like, oh, that's bad. I'm going to go after that person and ignore what else is going on, where somebody else is playing a win more enchantment like Divine Visitation or Doubling Season, and you ignore that player and you look at the person who's drawing more cards than you because you know they're going to find something good. You have to do something about that person. Not in Commander, not the same. Everybody is going to draw cards and set up different engines and assemble combinations that just go way over the top of what you can normally manage. So you shouldn't panic when people are drawing extra cards. In fact, try to engage and restrain that card draw jealousy. The more you're just like, yep, you drew a card, that's fine. Yep, you drew a card, that's fine. Yep, you drew a card, that's fine. Yep, you made a treasure, that's fine. But you focus on the actual presence on board, the better off in most cases you'll be. Like I said, it has its limits. When somebody starts going into the stratosphere drawing a million cards, you better kill them. But just because somebody drew 3 cards last turn and everybody else drew 1 doesn't mean you have to kill them right now. All right, the next thing This is one that I'm still working on. This is a very hard one for me. Make deals. We are so used to keeping to ourselves our plan and trying to blindside opponents that we don't talk enough about what we can do, what we're able to do, what we're able to stop, and what we're able to kind of interact with. But if we're more open with people at the table when we have a problem we can't solve, maybe they will solve it, or maybe they can work with you to solve it. I can't tell you the number of times that I've seen somebody where if they work together, one of them has a path to exile to get rid of an Archangel Avacyn that gives the whole board indestructible. Avacyn Angel of Hope, my bad. So one player has a path to exile that can get rid of it. The other has a board wipe, and the player who's the arch enemy has the Avacyn and like 10 other creatures, right? And if they get to their next turn, they're going to win. But they don't communicate. They don't talk to each other. So the path to exile ends up getting cast somewhere else for some reason, or the player with the board wipe ends up passing the turn without casting the board wipe. And then the next turn, the player with the path to exile casts it, and the player with the board wipe is like, oh, if I'd have known. But like, if you keep too many secrets in Commander, especially when you are behind and there is an arch enemy, which is most games, then you end up just folding to that arch enemy. So make more deals, talk to more people, work with table. You will always turn, you guys, when you turn your back on them later and battle to see who will be the one left standing, it's understood. The game has to have a winner. It's not the end of the world to work with somebody and then later be like, all right, we took care of the problem. Now we have to be enemies. It's also, it's just adapting to situations in a different way, and communication, talking to each other about that, and then making good deals. Like, I will do this if you do that. I will do this if you don't attack me. I can solve this problem if you can solve this problem. Shake on it, fist bump. It makes a huge difference in gameplay, and it actually adds to the experience once you get used to it. All right, the next one. Don't be afraid to do big things. I don't know how many times for my first year of playing Commander, I would look at a thing and be like, wow, I can really pop off this turn. It wouldn't be a pop off that would win. It would just be like, I do like 10 things in one turn, and I wouldn't do it. Why? Because I didn't want to be arch enemy, because I didn't want to make other people feel bad, because I didn't want the table to be like, oh, he's playing super powerful cards, this is lame. I was really worried about that. A part of me still is. And what I've gotten over that feeling and just kind of done my thing and decided to be a problem, mostly by asking myself this question. Would I be so confident? Like, would doing a big thing make me feel so bad if I were playing a 1v1 game against an opponent who had 21 cards in their hand and 120 life? No, I would be like, I am probably going to lose unless I do a big thing, and I would make that play. And that's kind of the situation you're in, because if your opponents band together and work together, they have, early in the game, especially 21 cards in hand and about 120 life. So be the problem. They will probably deal with it. And honestly, being an arch enemy can be fun, and sometimes you win from those spots, and it does feel like very powerful. And your opponents learn something about how to work together and also how to stop the kind of things that you do. So it can be a good experience. Next up, control. I love control. This is my last point. Control is different. You can't remove everything. You can build a deck with like 50 board wipes. It won't matter. It's not very good. You can't remove everything. You have to contain everything. You have to kind of misdirect you have to have your threat assessment. You have to not be the big threat yourself. You have to manage the things that are specifically going to damage and target you, and you have to maintain the board. Like that's all it is. You just keep everybody at about an even playing field. If they don't like it and start picking on you, you just wait. Somebody else will become a big problem. That's the nature of the game. And you exhibit a lot of patience as a win con. Don't do things that you don't have to do. Don't counter somebody's commander, just because if it's a terrifying commander that's going to win the game and they already have synergy pieces online, you should usually deal with the synergy pieces, because letting somebody have their commander, first of all, you make kind of an arch enemy. The message you send to somebody when you counter their commander is, okay, I guess if I want to play commander, I have to kill you first. And they won't stop going after you. They just won't. It's the nature of the beast. I've been on the other side of this, and I do this. I go after the person until they're dead because I want to play commander now. So I would say deal with the synergy pieces that make their commander busted. If they are playing Mondrak and they have a Divine Visitation and a Caged Sun, like I did in a recent game, deal with the Divine Visitation and the Caged Sun, not the Mondrak. Do your best to let people have their commanders, just contain the explosiveness of their strategy, and the other people at the table will see you more as an ally because you're helping deal with the things that would ruin their game as well. So control is very different. Don't go into it thinking you have to remove and counter everything. You don't. Go in thinking you have to interact here and there, be patient, and just keep the board at an even keel, not completely clean, dead, and, creature free. All right, those are the things I've learned playing Commander. I hope that it helps some of you making the transition from Magic Arena into a 4-player game. It certainly has helped me. I've discovered a lot of fun and social experience in the Magic world that I didn't have before Commander. So also my wife got into it, which after, 17 years together, she didn't play Magic. And she tried to learn a few times, never liked it, but she likes Commander. So there are other sides of the game that you can access and unlock by playing a 4-player social game that's different from what you can do on Arena. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. You are cool.